Hello and welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to do a questions and answers or assumptions video for you. I did one of these quite a while back when I first started my channel, but I've not done one since. So I asked a couple of weeks ago on YouTube if any of you had any questions that you wanted to ask me, and I did have quite a few. So let's go through them. I'm actually going to say people's names this time. I hope you don't mind, just so you know I've answered your question. So we'll kick off with a nice, easy one. I must admit they're very tame, so let's hope we can make it entertaining. So the first one's from Tristan Donlan Kite, and he asks, do you have any pets? Well, if you've been here for a little while, you'll know we've got Zara. Zara is a Rhodesian Ridgeback, and I shall pop a picture of I'll pop a picture of her in now. So she's a dog. She's 11 years old. Big dogs don't live that long, so she's sort of getting near to the end of her life, and obviously she's getting a lot greyer and she's slowed down quite a bit. But she's still in really good condition. We took her to the vets recently to have her jabs, and yeah, they said that she's still in good nick. So long live Zara, because she's like my little best friend. We did have another Ridgeback, Solomon, who was her half brother, but we lost him when he was 8, which was quite, it was awful, traumatic, terrible experience. So that's why I'm not looking forward to losing Zara. It broke my heart, really did. So let's go on to another subject, else I might get upset. Right, next one is from Becky T. Aside from YouTube, what hobbies do you have? So let's have a little think. Fitness is a massive hobby of mine, and that's what takes up most of my life. So fitness, work, YouTube, Alan, dog, friends, not necessarily in that order, and family. That's virtually my whole life. So yeah, I train 6 times a week in the morning before I go to work. I'm fortunate that I can go to work a little bit later, so I don't start till 10ish. So I get up every morning, bar one, at, well, in the weekdays I get up at about 6:10, 6:30, depending on what I'm doing. So I will do 3 bike sessions a week. So we've got a thing called a watt bike, which is like a stationary exercise bike. So I do 2 sessions on that a week, and they're usually about an hour and a half, if not a little bit more. There is a video on my channel of me, sort of what I eat in a week and what I train in a week, if you want a bit more information on that. And then hopefully once a week I go out for a bike ride with Alan, my husband, but it depends on the weather. It has to be dry, not too windy, and a decent temperature, otherwise bike riding can be very cold. And it can be a bit dangerous if it's windy. We usually go between 30 to 50 miles, so it sort of takes a whole day really, which is lovely, and it's proper quality time that we spend together. And then I run twice a week, do two 10Ks a week, and then I also do kettlebells. I used to do weightlifting, but since lockdown, obviously the gyms have been closed, and Alan was really getting into kettlebells just before lockdown happened anyway. He was getting into it, he'd been doing it for about a year. And he said, why don't you ever go? And I was like, no, I'm happy with my weight training, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, because of lockdown, I've ended up doing the sessions with him. And we dial in, like virtually, to a chap called Russ. KB3 is his company or business. In fact, you could dial in. You don't need to be local to where I am, because he zooms to us. So if any of you are interested, let me know. It's a 45-minute session on a Saturday morning at 9. Really enjoy it. Yeah, it's decent. It's good workout. So kettlebells are strength training. So yeah, they're my hobbies really. Those 3. I like a bit of golf. We're trying to get into golf. Very sort of active and not sports, but yeah, hobbies. So I think once Alan and I retire, we'll get into golf a bit more. We've had a few pitch and putts. Alan's played before, but I've not. But he bought me a set of golf clubs last year, so hopefully we're doing a bit of that. What else? I like making jam. I've made a few batches of jam. I'd like to get into baking, just don't have enough time. What else do I do? Hair, beauty, all of that sort of thing, but obviously you know that because of the channel. Right, next one. Thank you very much. Next one from Dawn Griffith. She's been watching me for quite a while. Hello, Dawn. Lovely to hear from you. Would you consider having your hair cut shorter? Well, that's a very good question. Not at the moment, no. I did think when I was younger, when you hit 40, I'm 45 now, you need to have shorter hair. But I think over the years, especially now, I don't know if it's to do with social media and people just, it's all about appearance, isn't it? But there's a lot of older women with long hair now, so I think I can get away with it. And I've mentioned quite a bit recently with regards to my hair that for some reason it's grown. It's grown a lot. It's down here now. It used to only be about there. I would say it's grown about 4 inches and it's thickened up a bit. So about 18 months ago, 2 years ago, it just went in really bad condition, really fine, kept snapping, just looked awful. And I had a really good cut. And I don't know whether it's hair, skin and nail tablets that I take, drinking more water, better diet, I don't know, more sleep, all those sort of things. My hair now, I don't know if it's when I started taking, I did a collaboration with a company called We Are Feel, and they were multivitamins, and I don't know if it was that kick-started it, because it did say in there that they were good for your hair, but I don't know. Anyway, no, at the moment, no way am I having it cut because it's taken me this long to get it in this sort of condition. Plus, because of all the training that I do, it's just great to tie it up. Yeah, it's just so convenient. My mum has actually got shorter hair because Mum and I look very, very similar. I'll pop a picture of her in now. When Mum was a bit younger, she had longer hair, so we looked like 2 peas in a pod. But yeah, she's had hers cut and it looks really nice. So I dare say at some point I will. But at the moment, whilst I don't have much time to get ready in the mornings, no, I'm keeping it long. Okay, next one, Rosina Speakman. Hi Belinda, what's your job? You don't need to answer if it's something you can't talk about. How are you dealing with lockdown and not seeing your family? Okay, my job I've mentioned before, I can't really talk about. It's nothing special, it's no secret. We're just not allowed to talk about it on social media. Simple as that. I will tell you though that I'm a secretary. How are you dealing with lockdown and not seeing your family? Lockdown, been an interesting one. I actually have to say, besides from not seeing my family, which has been hideous, so from March 2020, I've only seen my family once in the August, and I spent about 5 days with them. Who I class as my family are my mum, dad, brother, and my little nephew. I really, really miss them. We've got a very, very close-knit family. We go on holiday once a year together. We're really, really close. Mum's like one of my best friends. So it's been hard. And I have to say at the beginning, I really, really struggled with it. And I know my mum did as well. It's just, yeah. Do you know what? I try not to think about it because if I think about it, I get upset. So how I've sort of coped with that, you'll have seen I've been sending home what my mum has now called rescue parcels. And I'm just about to film a video on one at the moment. So what I do about every month, I'll say to my mum, so my mum, dad, my brother Adam and my nephew Dre, is there anything that any of you need? Because they were in lockdown before us, proper lockdown, because they live in Leicester. So they were struggling to get out to the shops. Mum and dad are a bit older, they're in their 70s. So my brother and myself were trying to stop them going to the shops or avoiding them going to the shops. So I used to say anything urgent, or is there anything that, you know, Adam can't pick up for you, if mum wanted some makeup or something like that. Or anyway, so I started sending these boxes that got over the months got bigger and bigger, and I put loads of stuff in it. And I've bought little treats for them. I've bought quite a few clothes and bits for Dre. I tend to steer away from toys for him. I know I try to be a bit more practical with, the sleep suits and socks and t-shirts and stuff. And so I've done that. I've sent my dad a lot of chocolate, sent him some seeds, bird feeding stuff that I know he likes. Adam doesn't tend to get so much because he doesn't live with them. Well, neither does Dre. But and then Mum, she's had all sorts, hair stuff, face stuff, clothes. And it's been lovely sending them, and then mum either phones me or she writes me an email about all the stuff that I've sent and how they'll use it and what they like. And I've also sent things that have reminded me of my childhood, so then they start reminiscing, and it really has helped me to feel close to them. And it's been nice to give a bit back to my parents, because my parents have always been very supportive, very kind, very generous. And, you know, when you get older as an adult, and now I earn my own money, and, you know, I've got my own job, I'm secure, that sort of thing. It's like I want to give a bit back. And Mum and Dad struggle taking stuff from me and Adam, or Adam and I. But this they have done, you know, they've accepted, which has been great. So I've been able to just give a bit of love back, and you know, it's a bit of financial help as well, isn't it? So yeah, because they're both retired now, so they don't have an income. They're okay, they're absolutely fine, you know, they're doing well in retirement, but they don't have an income anymore, that security of an income. So yeah, that's helped me to do that. And then obviously now we've had news that lockdown might be eased a bit. So we're just planning our next meeting so we can meet up, 6 of us outside. So in fact, Alan and I have been talking about it today. So that'll be the next plans. And then the rest of lockdown, because I've continued to go to work, I did find it hard because to start with at work, people weren't social distancing very well. I'm lucky I work in my own office, so I've been able to sort of keep people away. And as time's gone on, people have, you know, become more sensible about it. So that sort of fear there has diminished, thankfully. So yeah, my routine's carried on as normal. We've got all of our gym kit here so we can train at home, so I've not been affected by that. Had I not had my training kit, I think I'd have struggled quite a lot. In fact, I know it would have been horrendous. I don't know what I'd have done. Yeah, Alan and I have spent so much time together. He's worked from home since last March, every single day. And he normally used to work away probably once every 2 weeks and stay away from home for 2 nights a week. So he's not been doing that. So it's been strange to have him here all the time. But the thing with Alan and I, the more time we spend together, the better we get on. I mean, we get on really well anyway, and we have a lovely, happy marriage. But we you know, the more time we're together, it gets even better. So yeah, it's been really good for us. Financially, it's been good. We're both thankfully in secure jobs. Alan's not had to pay for, he works in London, so he normally commutes. He's not had to pay for his train fare, so he's been able to save a lot of money there. We're not socialising, so yeah, no holidays. So we're really fortunate that, you know, we're one of the families that will do well out of lockdown, which I feel awful saying, because I know a lot of people have lost jobs, or a partner or one person out of a family's lost jobs, and or been furloughed and not, you know, only getting the 80% of the money. My brother's lost 1 day a week. He's still only he works 4 days. So, you know, it's a big drop, isn't it, in your money? So I'm just thankful we've not done that. So yeah, lockdown, it's been hard because I've not seen my family or my friends. We've done a lot of Zooms and phone calls and things. But this sort of end, rather than home end, which was Leicester, I'm now in Chelmsford in Essex. Essex end has been okay. And obviously I've still been able to see a couple of my friends because we've been out for dog walks together, just one-on-one. So I sort of do a bit of a rota and see one every week. So then you end up seeing, you know, 4 a month or whatever. So yeah, I've not really talked about it too much on here because I know a lot of people have said they come to YouTube to get a bit of an escape from it, so I've not really mentioned it too much. So yeah, that's that one. Jacqueline Bootman. Hi Belinda, what's your favourite holiday destination? Jacqueline has supported me right from the beginning. Thank you, Jacqueline. I know I always write back to you, but your support of my channel has been really, really good, and I'm very, very grateful of it. She always comments on every single video, watches every single video, which, you know, fantastic. So my favourite holiday destination, I'm not a massive traveller. I do like going abroad. I love the warm, but I've I've never been travelling as such, and I've never fancied going to anywhere like Australia or New Zealand or anything. I suppose I've got two. Sorrento in Italy, where I go with my mum, dad and brother, which we've been doing for the last 8 or 9 years. I absolutely love Sorrento in Italy. We didn't do it last year, and I don't know whether we're going to get there this year. So it's a shame because it's mum and dad's 50th wedding anniversary, the golden wedding anniversary, and we were supposed to be doing a special holiday this June. So fingers crossed if we get there. And then my other one, oh, I know, yeah. Alan and I went to, for my 40th, we went to America. And as part of it, we went to Las Vegas. Is it Las Vegas. Oh, goodness, where did we go? San Francisco and then LA. And yeah, I loved LA. Los Angeles. I'd love to go back there. Alan and I really liked it. We stayed quite close to the beach, that very famous beach, and we went down and saw the sort of weight training area thing, Muscle Beach or whatever it's called. We ran along the I don't know if you call it the coastal line or promenade or whatever. We did that a few times while we were there. Just really loved the feeling. I loved the warmth, the people, the diversity of people, the shops, the sea, the beach. Yeah, it was absolutely lovely. I'd love to go back there. So Cat 777, how long do you think a new starter to exercise should do on an exercise bike and when? Right, okay, if you're completely new, cycling, I've just squashed my ear there, it's gone red. Cycling is one of the easier, I suppose, ways of training. It can be very hard if you put a lot of, effort into it, but you control how much resistance you have, how quick you pedal, so it can be easy or hard depending on what you put into it. So I would start with 3 times a week, 20 minutes a go. Just get on the bike, don't go crazy on the resistance, just have sort of a middle resistance, just sit there and try and pedal for 20 minutes. Which, I don't know, I think for me, because I cycle a lot, wouldn't be too hard, but for someone new with no fitness, just that continuous build up. Cycling's really good because it doesn't hurt your knees like running does, your weight's supported. The only thing with cycling, what I would say compared to running, is you don't burn anywhere near as many calories. It is, if you're going at the right intensity, it's a really great fat burner, and it can be a cardio workout as well if you go quick. But you have to do longer on the bike to achieve the same calorie count as you would, say, running. So if I ran for an hour, I'd probably burn about 600 calories. On the bike, probably about 350. So yeah, it's a lot gentler. That's why it's a bit easier, because you're not burning as many calories. But yeah, I'd start, if you can make 20 minutes, if not maybe 15, but it's a gradual build up. Getting fit and active it's not easy. It takes dedication, you need motivation, you need the right kit. But once you get going, the feeling, it's fantastic. And then of course you can enjoy a bit of nice food if you've worked off a decent amount of calories. So I'd start with that. If you've got any more questions on that, Cat, drop them down below if you want a little bit more information. I realise that's just a brief answer. Joanne Wright. Joanne's got a YouTube channel. She does a lot of hauls and beauty stuff and DIYs and crafting. She does a lot. So pop over and see her. Joanne Wright, that is the name of her channel. I think she's a Geordie. Love her. She's so full of life, always enthusiastic. She's got a great channel. So she said, I love this idea. I might jump on the bandwagon and do it myself. Absolutely, Joanne. I'll certainly ask you a question or two. My question is, do you have any plans for when we come out of lockdown? I've touched on those briefly. Seeing my family, seeing my friends, and hopefully going to Sorrento. Right, Beauty with Becky. She's another fellow YouTuber. I've got quite a few YouTubers on here. Beauty with Becky does a lot of beauty, and she's quite a new channel. So again, go and check her out, because she's very new to it, and when you're starting out and your subscriber numbers are a bit lower, you need as much support as you can possibly get to start getting that channel out there. And she's really, yeah, she's dead bubbly, she's lovely. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would it be and why? I think we'll go back to Los Angeles. There's nowhere else I want to go, is there? I might like to do a bit more of Italy, actually. Oh, I know where I'd like to go. I'd like to go and see the Northern Lights. Alan and I talked about doing that a while back, but we've never progressed it anymore. So, yeah, Becky, the Northern Lights. Okay, Jeanette Harris. Again, Jeanette's supported me a lot. What do you do for a living to enable you to attend on a cycle? Yeah, so I'm a secretary, so I just cycle to the office. I'm fortunate that I live quite close to where I work, so it's not actually a very long bike ride. But yeah, so just cycle to the office. Charlotte Bradbury, we've become friends quite recently on here. It turns out Charlotte actually lives on the estate that I grew up on and knows my brother. What a small world, can't believe it. So she says, what is your favourite childhood memory? Wow. I have to say I had a fantastic childhood. Absolutely, yeah. As I've said earlier, I've got a lovely family. I lost all my grandparents when I was very young, actually. And I think I will say, I know. Oh no, I've got loads. One of them was we were on holiday. I think it was our first holiday abroad, and I don't know how old I was. Can't have been that young, surely. Anyway, yeah, first holiday abroad, last night, booze bingo. And back then, you know, booze, obviously you're not supposed to drink when you're a child, but they didn't have this restriction of 18 as strict, and, you know, people drank when they were a bit younger. And anyway, abroad, booze bingo, kids were allowed to play. Who won? Moi. I won the bloody bingo. And the prize was 5 bottles of alcohol, which they let me collect. I think I sort of had to point to my mum and dad. Anyway, what did I win? I won a bottle of horrible fizz. It wasn't even Prosecco. It was this awful sweet champagne thing. It wasn't champagne. A bottle of sangria, a bottle of gin. I think there was a bottle of whiskey and a bottle of something else. Anyway, Mum and Dad had already packed, so they didn't really have much room to take things back. And back then, you didn't have restrictions on how much alcohol you could take back. So I think they kept the spirits. I think we shared some of it out. As you know, I gave it to Mum and Dad, and then whoever was on the table with them, they started drinking it. So I think they had the sangria. And then I think I was allowed to have a little tipple of the manky champagne. What was it? Not Asti Spumante. You know, like sweet. Anyway, yeah, took the bottle off to sort of share out a bit, and I had a bit too much. Yeah, I ended up getting absolutely plastered. Yeah, and I didn't feel too well at all. And then the next day we had to go home. How old was I? I must have been, well, we were a bit older when we went abroad. I must have been about 12 or 13. Maybe I was a bit older. Maybe not. That's not really childhood though, is it? No, I was younger, because I can't remember it all. Anyway, yeah, didn't feel very good at all. I think I was even sick. So that's that one. Selena Bowen, a colleague of mine who I've not seen for a long time. I do miss you, Selena. I really do. I hope we can meet up again at some point. Anyway, hello B, what's your biggest regret in life? I love your videos. I bought that toilet duck loo brush cleaner and never looked back. Yeah, I love it too, Selena. It's brilliant, isn't it? My biggest regret in life, I would say is, and this one might surprise you a bit, my obsession with my weight. It's been with me my whole life, always in the background. So that's why I do a lot of training. I'm not saying I had an eating disorder, but I've had issues with my weight a lot in my childhood. I have actually made myself sick before. I didn't have bulimia, but I remember once or twice eating big meals, and I didn't go off and sort of binge on stuff, but I've had really big meals and felt really full, and I made myself sick once. And I've been on stupid diets, cabbage soup diet, calorie controlled diets, you name it, I've done it. And I was a bit porky when I was a child, a bit chubby, got teased, got picked on, not so much bullying. Well, I suppose it was actually, yeah, it wasn't very nice. I wasn't massive, but I was chubby. I was a little fatty. I used to have big cheeks. Yeah, and it's just stuck with me my whole life. I would say I'm probably in the best place I've ever been now. I did get a bit obsessive with weighing myself a lot, probably about 18 months ago. So what's happened, for me, it's keeping everything in moderation. So yeah, I do train a lot, I accept that, and some people think, it's far too much. But that training allows me to then enjoy food and enjoy wine, enjoy chocolate and sweets. I love drinking wine, I love eating chocolate, I love eating sweets. Diets just make you miserable. So now, everything in moderation. I do the same exercise every week. I drink the same amount of wine every night. I drink wine every night. Eat the same sort of food every day. Not the same actual, I don't eat a jacket potato every single day, but similar, breakfast, lunch, evening meal, all very sort of similar calorie content and makeup food, your carbs, your protein. I eat a lot of carbs. And now I would say my weight has been, when was it? I wasn't very well a few years ago, about 4 years ago, and I lost quite a lot of weight. Then I went back up to sort of being a steady weight again. Then I went away. We went away and stayed with friends in Cornwall, and we just scoffed, and I put about 1/2 stone on in 2 weeks, which I just don't do. We just weren't moving around a lot, weren't doing the exercise. So that's when I started getting obsessed with going on the scales again. I got that back down. I like to be around the same sort of weight all the time, similar. And then lockdown started putting it back on again, because even though I was eating the same and doing the same exercise, just wasn't as active in the day. Alan started walking the dog, whereas I used to walk probably 3 times a week. In the day at lunchtime, I'd go out on my lunch breaks and probably walk to the shops and back, which could have been a couple of miles. So only little tiny bits like that. And I did start comfort eating a little bit at the beginning when I was a little bit stressed out about it, started eating a lot more sweets and chocolate. So I put some weight back on, but I've managed to get it back down again now. And I only weigh myself probably once a week now, and that just keeps me in track, keeps me in check. I was talking to somebody at work about it, a very good friend, Rachel, and at that point I was weighing myself every day, and as I was telling her it, I knew it was wrong. And I said to her, speaking to you has made me realise I'm doing that as a bit of an obsession. And I said to her, I'm going to promise you, I think I said, I can't remember if it was a month or a week, I'm not going to go on the scales. And I did exactly what I promised her. I think it might have been a month. It was so hard. It was every day I wanted to get on them. And I didn't. I did promise, I kept my promise. And then at the end of it, I think I put some weight on. Anyway, from then I've said to her, I'm not going to do it every day. So once a week, because I have found if I don't do it, I drift up a bit, so I need to get myself back in check. So that's just my way of controlling it. But yeah, that's my biggest regret, just having this awful obsession with my weight. So that's it. Thank you so much to everybody who submitted me a question. Yeah, they weren't too juicy, were they? So that's good. And not really any assumptions, except that nice one about the etiquette, like that one. Yeah, so hopefully you've got to know me a little bit more there. I really enjoy doing these, and hopefully it won't take me too much to edit, because mind you, it's massive. It's an hour long. Hopefully I've cut it down a bit. I do chat. I do love talking, as you may have guessed. So yeah, hopefully you've got to know me a bit more and enjoyed that one. If that's triggered any questions you might want to ask me now, pop them down below and I will answer them, hopefully. So yeah, all I've got to say is thank you for everybody for doing that. Thank you for watching. Leave me any comments if you've enjoyed it. Let me know if you've enjoyed it and if you'd like me to do another one maybe, in a few more months. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.